What if the Ottoman Empire had never collapsed? The Ottoman Empire was once one of the greatest powers on earth. It stretched across 3 continents, Europe, Asia, and Africa, and lasted for over 600 years. From its capital in Istanbul, the Ottomans ruled over millions of people of different cultures, languages, and religions. It was a centre of trade, learning, architecture, and religion. But like all great empires, it eventually declined due to wars, internal corruption, and outside pressures. After World War I, it officially ended, and new nations were carved out of its territory by European powers. But what if history had taken a different path? What if the Ottoman Empire had never collapsed? What if it had modernized, reformed, and adapted to the changing world like Japan or some European powers did? Let's imagine this alternate world. In this scenario, the Middle East would be unrecognizable. There would be no separate countries like Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, or even modern-day Saudi Arabia. All these regions would still be provinces of a large unified empire ruled from Istanbul. The Ottoman Caliph would continue to act as both a political and religious leader, perhaps offering a sense of unity to the Muslim world that does not exist today. The borders of the modern world would look very different. The divisions created by Britain and France under the Sykes-Picot Agreement would have never happened. This could have prevented many of the conflicts and rivalries we see today in the Middle East. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict might also have played out differently, or perhaps not occurred at all, since the Ottomans governed the Holy Land in a more multi-religious manner. The oil reserves discovered in the 20th century would have made the empire extremely wealthy. Instead of multiple small oil-rich kingdoms, the Ottomans would control all of it, giving them enormous power over global energy markets. This wealth could have been used to build infrastructure, invest in education, and compete with the Western world in science and technology. Culturally, the empire would continue to be a unique blend of East and West. Turkish, Arabic, Kurdish, and other languages would coexist under one political system. Islamic art, architecture, and scholarship might have continued to flourish on a global stage alongside modern advancements. The Cold War dynamics would be completely different. Instead of the US and the USSR dominating global politics, there could be a third power, the Ottoman Empire, acting as a strong Islamic superpower balancing between the East and the West. The UN Security Council might have had a permanent seat for Istanbul. Western colonization of Muslim lands in Africa and Asia might have been prevented or resisted more effectively. The empire could have provided a unified front for Muslims around the world. The Islamic world might have its own version of the European Union or NATO based on shared religion, culture, and political history. Education and science would also look different. Universities in Cairo, Istanbul, and Damascus could be among the world's top institutions. Muslim scholars might lead in fields like medicine, engineering, and space science, backed by a strong, stable empire that valued both faith and progress. But this alternate world would not be perfect. Governing such a large and diverse empire would bring challenges. Different ethnic groups might demand independence, religious minorities might still face tensions, and maintaining unity across vast lands would always be a difficult task. However, with the right leadership and modernization, these problems could be managed. In today's world, we often talk about a divided Muslim world, but in this alternate timeline, the Ottoman Empire might offer a symbol of unity, strength, and independence. It could mean a Middle East free from foreign occupation, a Muslim world with a single voice in global politics, and a more balanced world order. The idea of the Ottoman Empire surviving is more than just a fantasy. It is a reflection on what unity, vision, and leadership could have achieved. History may not have allowed it, but imagining it helps us understand what was lost, and perhaps what can still be learned.